Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ryan here. I just finished up a game that I was pretty happy with, and I wanted to put it on online for you guys. Whenever you beat somebody that's significantly higher than you, it always feels pretty good, and this was definitely the case here. We have this guy over here, 1582. I've been doing pretty good lately. I'm at 1520 right now, but I've never beaten anybody this high henceforth. So I think this was a this is pretty cool for me. But I think my next highest was 1551 rating, the guy I beat. But this is a really fun game. So I guess we'll just play it out and we'll talk through it. So he started with the queen, and I always like to respond with the queen's pawn back to him. So he put his knight here as his second move, so I already know that he's not going to try to do the king's gambit or the queen's gambit. I like to respond this way anyways, simply because it kind of it's just a defensive move. He brings his bishop out. He's trying to do the London system where he's trying to close this as well because this pawn structure right here is nice. But he wanted his bishop out here first, and this does a couple things. It allows you to push this pawn forward with your bishop outside this chain, kind of like they teach in the Caro-Kann. And the second thing it does is it alerts me to a possible threat of this knight coming here and him trying to, do something along this fork diagonal here. So I just respond by developing normally. Brings his queen down, which also signals that he's going to be castling queenside. I've been trying to fianchetto this lately, and I really like the way that a lot of games turn out with this fianchetto right here. So since he's castling queenside, he can automatically start the attack. I'm setting up for castling kingside right now, and so he just begins his pawn storm. I fianchetto my bishop. Now, as soon as any pawn gets right here, I immediately like to stop any advance from it. This pawn right here alone isn't very strong, and he also cannot support it right away because of my knight right here with this pawn pulling it down. So with this, I just kind of like to close it right here. It also kind of restricts this bishop. The knight probably wants to come here and then here. So I like doing this move whenever this pawn gets too close. He immediately starts the attack. He has a nice double threat here of taking this pawn, and also if I move my bishop at all in the forthcoming moves, he can take this pawn, which is probably one of the most important pawns for my king. I respond the way I normally do, which is by pushing this pawn, which also eliminates this immediate threat here and puts pressure on his center. It allows me to recapture with whatever comes to mind. That's the way I like to play this line. He goes ahead and takes, and like I mentioned earlier, I have this queen attack here, so I have to recapture with the pawn. He comes down and tries to go with the plan that I originally spoke about, which is forking my king and rook over here. But basically my only defensive outlet right now is this check right here. It essentially forces his knight to move back. Knight moves back, and I immediately push the pawn. Another move he had here, yeah, this is probably, it loses the knight, I guess, that's all I can say. So he castles. I think a stronger move from him might have been to threaten my queen right here, make me move it up, push a pawn, move my queen around to get rid of this pin, because he's got to know that this pawn is coming. But I think that he's got a pretty dang strong attack right now as well. He can take my knight right here. I'm probably not going to recapture with the rook because the queen will come down. So he's just going to continue his attack right here. I take the knight. He takes back. I threaten the queen right out of the gate because I eventually want to move this bishop and castle because, threats are getting pretty strong right now. And another reason is that it puts a double attack on this pawn, one which, I'm going to win now. So he moves his queen right here. I take it. I just really want to exchange queens right now. I'm up. I'm +3 right now. So he goes ahead and takes back. He didn't have to there, but he did anyway. So I take back with the knight. He threatens my knight. I have a check there. Threaten the rook again. And he has to move it, so he moves it there. I threaten the rook again, also further developing. He moves it out of danger. I develop one of my last minor pieces. Um, he's trying to pin my bishop in here. For instance, if he's able to get this pawn right here, I can't move my bishop back now. I can't move it forward without losing it. I guess I can, move it right there, but that's kind of getting risky and sloppy. So I respond by getting this bishop out of the way. Now that this knight is here, he has to, drop back, and it also frees up a square for my bishop. So that was the reason for this knight move originally, is because I wanted to kick this bishop off this diagonal because I want my rook here eventually. So this is my knight move for this. Immediately kick the bishop. I'm able to move my rook here now. He gets his king out of the way, which is pretty smart because this is a pretty nasty discovered check here, which you'll see isn't enough in the next couple moves. But right now he has a double attack on this pawn. So I go ahead and push it up one. He's no longer attacking anything with this bishop on this diagonal. The rook is getting pretty cramped in here. For instance, can't move here, can't move here. So it's probably looking for an escape square right now, which the only one I see is right here. So he goes ahead and drops his bishop back one to free up that square for him. I have a plan forming right here, and you'll see it actually works, which is rare for me. But we'll just play it out. So I've had this discover attack on the king for a while now, and he let me go ahead with it. And another purpose for this rook on this diagonal is he can't recapture now with the king. He'd probably like to move his king here and then recapture right here. You're down to trade, but it's not the end of the world. So this is a discover check. Moves his king up one. Another discover check. Notice it would have been the same if he would have moved down. It would have been a check again. And that's checkmate right here. He can't take because it's protected by the knight, and he can't move right here because of this. Anyways, I thought that I was really happy with this game, I guess. And maybe we should see what the computer says. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.